Market update here on the 6th. Let's go over QQQ first. Trump with the victory, and the market takes off higher. QQQ is doing one of the patterns I went over in the last video I did on it. It is, I said it was either going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, or we're going to be looking for a B wave higher. Could go as high as 508, and then a move down. That's what I'm looking for. We hit the top of this parallel line right here. Could be in a fourth wave. I haven't looked at it on smaller time frames. I sold my calls around 502, just got out of them. We have the Fed coming up. That's another reason why I wanted to get out before anything dramatic happens. Don't know what that's going to bring after all the excitement, but I would be pretty cautious here, to be honest. I think this can go higher, but I think that there's a very good chance we start dipping. It's either going to start like soon, like today, or they're going to keep it up until the 15th, and it's going to be the 15th through December, the end of December, or the start of December. So I do think there's going to be a dip in the market. So we'll see what the Fed says, but this pattern is playing out right here. So I'm looking at this as the overall B wave right here. That is the overall B wave in my opinion. So you're looking at an expanded flat here. I have this as the overall A wave. It's kind of a weird one, but I think this is A, and I think that this is going to turn into an expanded flat down here. I think that it could come down here to 475, 480, and then I'm looking for more upside into the end of the year. I don't think it makes very much sense for it to continue to run up here and run and run and run, because then we're probably going to dip in December, and usually they want to keep the market up towards the end of the quarter, end of the year. So having a dip either from here till OPEX or after OPEX to early December and then rising up makes the most sense if you're thinking about fund managers and just overall funds wanting to keep their clients happy and report good gains. I always take that into account. I think November should be a dip at some point. Don't know what's going to cause it though. Could be the Fed today. Could be something with the election a few weeks out. I don't know. Trump won by so much that I don't think there's anything the Democrats can do at this point. They were talking about keeping him out of office. I don't even see how that's a possibility. He won by so much. So I think that the election stuff is pretty much off the table. It's going to come down to the Fed, and then you could have a black swan, which nobody can predict, obviously. So QQQ, I'm expecting a dip here soon. Tesla. So in the video yesterday, I said this could go either way. If Kamala would have won, this would have turned into a fifth wave down. Instead, Trump wins, we get a fifth wave up. They finish it at the right spot. So now, what is going on here? We hit that 290 gap fill into supply. We dipped back down here to 275. Retracing here. I think it's likely this dips from here. It had a nice move up. If I'm looking at this, I was originally saying 214 gap fill. I'm thinking that it makes a lot of sense for this to end the year like this. Potentially like something like that. Maybe like a 333 up here to higher, but it dips first. Maybe it comes back down here to 255 and then runs up here to like 310 to 320. If it comes all the way down there to 214, that's going to be a pretty big crash, and on that would be like a 30 or 40% drop. I don't see that happening. So I think it's fine to be short here right now after this big move, and especially after the last two moves. You can look on the daily standard deviations. We're at the top of the range, and we're in supply, so it's a good short here in my opinion. You could be looking at something sideways into December. Maybe it takes December to get all the way down here to 255, and then it goes up into the end of the year. Completely broke the pattern that I had drawn up because it broke through that top there. So at this point, it's either going to be WXY, or it's going to end up being AB, something like that. That's a triple three right there. So this would be WX, Y, double X, Z. That would still be a B wave though. So short term, looking for a short here on both QQQ and on Tesla. We'll see what the Fed says. If you're not following pot stocks, then it dropped crazy amount today. MSOs down 26%. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous, but I mean, Republicans are not going to legalize, so that's the drop. I actually bought some Green Thumb today, and the only reason I bought some, it's down pretty big. I'll hold that for years likely. And the reason I dropped, if you go look at the fundamentals, Green Thumb has pretty good fundamentals. It has pretty good free cash flow, $2.5 billion market cap. They are profitable. Like, there's so many different good things going on with the fundamentals. I added 1,500 shares right here at like 860, like right where it's at right now. And yeah, I feel pretty good about it. It's going into monthly demand. Could it go to new lows? Sure, why not? It could go to new lows. I would just add more down here. It's pretty good valuation right now to buy. So TrueLeave and all these other stocks are way down as well. I like Green Thumb the best. TrueLeave might be a buy too, down 40%. You can see my notes from back here. When this was doing a downtrend back in 22, that ended up not being a good starter. We also have Curaleaf is down a bunch as well. And yeah, this one has less of a free cash flow to market cap than Green Thumb though. So I think Green Thumb is overall a better buy. That's all I'm going to say on pot stocks. Over-the-counter market sucks. That's why technical analysis doesn't really work on there very well at all. Because what they'll do is they'll just slowly walk it down for years, and you just lose all your money. You lose your patience too. So I'm only buying a small amount, 1,500 shares, and we'll see what happens from that. Mara. So Mara, plan worked out perfectly. Came in here to demand, bounced right back up here to supply. For me, that's a sell right here, and it's going to come down here to 13 next if this falling wedge continues. So I'm looking for this, or it could be something like that. Over the next, it could happen in the next month too. We could just get an ABC move down here to 12 bucks, and that's it. Invalidation for this is going to be, if it breaks above this high at 1996, then I would say invalidated, but it's worked out perfectly so far. I would be surprised if we went right through this supply zone. On Bitcoin, it still has not broken the parallel line here. Right. There's a lot of lines going on here. So I'm looking at this right here. Is this on regular? Yeah, that's the reason. So I'm looking right here. I want to see this break 76,000 to really show me it's breaking out. Otherwise, it can still be ABC. This can still be let's see, how would this go down? This can still pull back here, basically. I think it can come down here to 60 to 65,000. But if it breaks above 76, then maybe we are already on our way for a third wave higher. I'm not going to bet on that though. We are overextended, you can see here on the daily. And I feel like pullback is coming. Probably going to keep this up, get everybody sucked in, and then eventually big pullback coming. I know I've been saying that for months now though, and it just never happens. Keep on invalidating the moves. Dollar's getting stronger. Trump stock's falling off a little bit. Boeing. So Boeing did break the low. I said that was my invalidation mark. I have calls on this for 2026, 160 calls. They're down, but I'm willing to hold them to 2026. I think that this is going to 200 plus still. This was off a little bit. It looks like this might be the fifth wave right here. So fifth wave might be going on right here. If that happens, I'd be ready for a bounce after that. JP Morgan's up huge. I don't follow the stock, so I can't really go over it right now. I'll do SoFi later. SMCI hit new lows yesterday, but I think it might have bottomed. It hit the very bottom of this monthly demand zone. So we'll see what happens with that. I think it's ready to bounce and potentially start a wave 2 or a wave B up here to $50 or higher. There's a gap all the way at $86. What else are we looking at here? Coin was up big today. Wow. I have not been following this all day. Wow. This is such a weird pattern here. So we get 1, 2, potentially 3. That looks like a 5-wave move, and then it comes back up here. It looks like that was a B wave. So, whoops. That could have been a B wave, but that also might be, it might be this. This just might be off. It's either a B wave, so I'm either looking at it like this, and then it's going to come back down here. Probably not that far, but or what's even more likely, I went over this in a video a while back, and I completely missed this. I'm really mad at myself for that. Could have bought at 146. I had this all charted out. Didn't go with my own play. I was trying to be too cute with it. I was looking for something down here, and look what happened. Breaks the parallel line for a fourth wave, and then it takes off. So this very well, if Bitcoin breaks out, then this very well might be going much, much higher. You could be looking at, let's see, this actually go right here. You could be looking at this going straight to 270 right here. And then from 270, that's only the third wave of the third wave. So then you're looking at it like, and that would be wave 3 potentially at like, let's see, maybe somewhere around 330, 340, let's just say. That's wave 3. And then you see a pullback and another move higher. The overall target is going to be oh, I'm so mad I missed this. So mad. I didn't do anything on this. 420. Would that'd be pretty high. 420. Now I'm thinking of pot stocks. 420 for the target there, potentially on this move. And that would complete 5 waves up. So this potentially could double from here, basically. So we'll find out here soon if this is in fact a C wave higher. If it's a C wave higher, then that means this is basically W. something like that, or it's going to go like that. Those are the two options in my opinion. So you could be looking at so 284 if it's ABC, or you're going to see 5 waves straight up to 420 now. So that is one of the stocks you want to be in if Bitcoin breaks out. Obviously, it's much better than the miners. The miners pretty terrible. But if the miners get going, then I think the target on those is going to be in the 50s. So Home Depot's down a bunch. Like I said, AMD not really moving that much. Still think it has to go lower here. Let's look at NVDA. NVIDIA up 3%. Looks like it is going to the target of 147, 154. I stopped following it. There's other stocks to play I feel are better. ENPH, did I go over this yet? I don't think I went over this yet. So, in phase, worked out exactly as I had it drawn up. Like, this is perfect. And I had sold puts. I got out of those at 87 to 89 with a profit on some of them. Some of them I'm down still, and I'm hedging with puts. But this worked out absolutely perfect. I added some shares on here because this is the 5th wave. The target of AB is 72 bucks. We basically hit that. Could it go lower? Yes, it can go all the way down here to 60 bucks, but I think it's a good spot to add all the way down here to 60 bucks for a bounce. This is just like pot stocks, just down huge because Republicans are not going to be good for solar energy along with pot stocks. And if we get a House and a Senate for Republicans, then that's really going to be negative for them. Also, I will say that I think eventually, if we get a House, Senate, and Trump in the office at the same time, I think it's going to be a negative for the stock market because they're going to try to cut spending. And spending is what fuels all the growth. And yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. We'll see how it goes, though. I definitely think there's going to be a melt up beforehand, and that hasn't even started yet. I know it seems crazy, but I don't think it's even started yet. You got to wait till this comes down here, and then I think we're ready for the next move higher. So let's see what happens here. Tesla is, there go the sirens. Tesla looks like it's retracing to me for a second wave. But we'll see. This stock has been doing all kinds of crazy movements. And it's just pretty crazy that this was at 213 12 days ago. And now we're at 290. It's just a crazy change. If you did covered calls, if you did anything other than holding shares, at some point you got screwed. Because this is a very tough pattern to trade when they're just doing gap ups that go up 15% before the market even opens, and then you don't really get very much trading during the day. So Tesla probably going to pull back though, I would think, but we'll see if this supply zone holds. Again, it's at the very top of the range on the daily standard deviation, which is usually a sign that a big drop is coming. Look at this. Here, anywhere else that's gone up here, it usually drops pretty big. This point, though, I think 255 could be the bottom. 214 is too big of a drop at this point. I think you're going to need a bigger drop in the market to get it down there. I think that 333 is very likely going into the end of the year. So that's it for this update. I'll do a SoFi video here in a bit, but good market day overall. I sold like everything like 5 or 10 minutes after the close. A lot of my positions, I was already up a bunch and sold a bunch. And I'm just looking for good plays now. I'm looking for stocks to sell puts on and prepare for the next move in the market. Let's see what the Fed brings up here in the next hour or so, and I'll do an update later.